Hi there, and welcome to our 5-minute webinar series, where we're going to be covering some important topics in about 5 minutes. Today we're going to be talking about the CARES Act, and specifically the Paycheck Protection Plan. The Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, or CARES Act, is an important piece of legislation that's designed to provide programs that will help businesses and individuals alike during this pandemic. There's a lot in this bill, and many have been asking about what does it mean for my business. Well, today we're going to take a stab at the Paycheck Protection Program, which is designed for small businesses. So perhaps the biggest component of this act, especially for small businesses, is the Paycheck Protection Plan. It's also sometimes called the Paycheck Protection Loan, or PPP. Now, what this loan does is it provides funding for small businesses to help them maintain operations and keep their employees. Now, this loan, when used for the purposes that they outline, is a 100% fully forgiven loan. This means that when you use it for its intended purpose, you need not pay it back. So what can you use it for, and what are the rules? Now, the biggest benefit of this program is that you can pay your employees their salaries even if you are not open. This not only includes wages, but extends to any tips, vacation time, family medical or sick leave, healthcare payments, retirement benefits, as well as state and local taxes. Now, there are some rules which we'll cover in a little bit, but this is kind of the essence of what this allows you to do. The next benefit is that it's retroactive. And we all know that many businesses have had to lay off employees to stay afloat. So the loan is retroactive to February 15th, 2020. This means that if your employees were on your payroll on that date, they can be rehired and receive wages through the loan. So the next question that always is asked is, how much do you get? So the maximum you can get is 2.5 months payroll, or $10 million, whichever is the lesser. So like any program, there's going to be a few rules here. So it's important that you reach out to your tax or legal advisor for most of the details. For example, if any employee you have is making more than $100,000 per year, they're excluded and they need to be pulled out of the payroll calculation. Similarly, you're going to need to provide a payroll report from that previous year and show the total average monthly payroll for that time, including all the deductions, taxes, benefits. This is to provide an accurate picture of payroll to the SBA. Of course, any employee that took advantage of the sick leave provisions under the Family First Coronavirus Response Act will also need to be deducted. So there's another part of the CARES Act that lets you defer payment of your employer's Social Security taxes till 2021 and 2022. If you decide to take advantage of this program, you can't do the Paycheck Protection Program. It's one or the other. The other caveat is that you have to be under 500 employees. This program was designed for the small businesses that are under tremendous strain, and as such, the program really only applies to businesses with under 500 employees. So people have been asking, how do I get this going and when can I start seeing the money? And here's the issue. Filling out the paperwork for the loan isn't really the problem. You are able to start that process by going to sba.gov, and there is a section on paycheck protection applications on their site. It's also important to connect with your current banking institution sooner than later to get into the queue to process your loan. The challenge is currently with the SBA, the Small Business Administration, and the banks on how to distribute the money. Now, some of the bigger banks have gotten funds already to distribute, but there's a large amount of people still waiting. It's a little like a giant flood that's being passed through a fire hose. There's only so much that's going to get through fast enough. So the banks and the government are still working out much of the mechanics, and all this time businesses are losing money. So those are the core components of how the Paycheck Protection loans are working for small businesses. I've included a couple interesting links here for resource pages and how to access the SBA and understand a little bit more about the CARES Act. The best advice is to start your applications as soon as possible, contact your payroll provider for an accurate payroll report, and then keep in contact with your bank as to where you are in line for funding. Good luck and be safe out there.